Man, this has been long overdue. Like, this is the most overdue thing that's ever been due.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we reviewed every episode. We got a little busy, but we finally here, man.
Man, life happens, man. You know, just
yeah,
like in the
dude.
Star Wars,
Yeah.
just like in the Star Wars universe. You know, like
Yeah.
you thinking you about to go home. Think you about to get out the the parallel universe, the galaxy, and you're not. Things happen, man.
Yeah.
But we was gonna talk about some things, but we gotta like you said it perfect because I needed to. We need closure on this season, right?
Yeah,
we need
man.
close on this. So we can talk about this latest episode. Or you actually gonna talk about the season in whole.
Yeah,
right? Because now we got everything together.
We can wrap it up.
We can talk about the story and everything.
Yeah.
If you don't know, we're here to talk about Star Wars, Ahsoka, the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I have. It's been weeks, maybe even a month. Loki is on what? That was his episode 4 we just watched.
Yeah, we halfway through this Loki season.
They overlap with week 1, so it's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks, yeah.
It's been 3 weeks since the Ahsoka series in. So everything, emotions, things you watch, formulating your ideas and some of your, things you watch, things I watch, all that stuff done simmered in, right? So now we can give what we feel about it, right? And what we thought about it. And I'll ask you off the top. I got to see if I got my old questions that I had from the thing, but like I was at your top. What was your take? So when we finished the season, right? We got to really recap it, right? But when we got to that moment where we saw Hayden, Force Ghost Hayden, because we in Force Ghost mode, right? Let me sure I ain't saying anything incorrectly. He was a Force Ghost at the end of that episode, right?
Yeah, that was him.
When we saw him,
they didn't even see him, so it was like, that was all Hayden. That was all Anakin.
Yeah,
Force
when he
Ghost.
was doing this, when he did this, like that's Force Ghost, right? Like when he was in the world between worlds, we know it could have been amalgamation. We don't. It's whatever we interpreted it was, right? Like, was that real? Was it not? Was it this? Was it that? At the end of the day, this right here is Force Ghost. So when this and it was in true Filoni fashion in that episode, right? It was a montage. It was like I told you all the time. I tell you all the time. Every time Rebel season in, it was a montage. The famous one is the prologue, right?
Yep.
That epilogue, prologue. But every other one of season 1, season 2, especially after that one after the Twilight of the Apprentice, it had that kind of feel to it. The Twilight of the Apprentice, that epilogue where Kanan was blonde, the music was playing, so it kind of had that kind of like all we saw from this prologue. We seen Thrawn reach Dathomir, right? We see your boy Balin. He's on we see what sculptures or what we want to call that of the Mortis gods, right? And they're pointing to something.
Yeah.
You see the daughter, she chopped off. We got Ezra then stole the ship. And he pulls up to everybody. Even I missed one. We had baby girl Shin going with those kind of like that rogue crew. I forget what they called them. But that group, those Ravager kind of individuals that were there.
Right.
She
sort of signals.
Yeah, she ready to be with them, and we have Sabine and Ahsoka left over. Just whatever they about to do. And we had Hayden. So like as we finish that off, season's over, right? Where were you at with it? Just an overall thought or overall feeling of like, okay, the season over, we got through this Ahsoka. Like, what were you feeling at that moment, and what was your like probably top takeaway?
So by the end of that episode, I basically told myself like, as disappointing as I thought that last episode was, I had to remember like it's been a pretty good season. You know what I mean? Like it's been a season that I enjoyed. But I was really disappointed, man. Like I was like let down. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, here we go again. But it was like I had to remember, like you can't sum up the whole season as a failure, in my opinion. Or at least that's how we saw it. I mean, we reviewed every episode, and for the most part, our general consensus on it was, hey man, it's pretty good. For me, good, not great show. So I had to keep that. A good, not great show. But do I feel like they stuck the landing in the finale? No. I felt like they crashed, man. They big letdown. It was just I was disappointed, man. I was honestly disappointed.
So let me ask you. So when you say let down, because I have a similar kind of feeling, right? So when I ask you this question, it's not me calling you out. You're like, no, it's just full, But like, what like is there? Because I have a reason. Like, okay, so let me say mine real quick, and then
go ahead. Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I was like, because I had to tell myself the same thing. I'm not going, because it wasn't trash, right? So it's like I was let down. Like this is what they did, as opposed to being like, wow, man, this is like it wasn't. I hate to take this shot, but it wasn't Boba sticking the gaffy stick in Cad Bane's chest trash, right? Like what?
Right. It wasn't even the worst finale.
So it wasn't like that. But what? And I kind of put it in. It's kind of because it was a two-parter, right? So it's like 7 and 8. What was let down for me was what I didn't like is that it felt like more of a setup for something to come as a part of finishing telling the story of this scene, right? Like this don't feel like this is, because that was the one thing I kept saying, like this, just finish this season. Ain't no guarantees in this world.
We talked about that, yeah.
Finish this season, and that's all you have to do, right? We know Thrawn's a threat, this, that, no, but it felt like it was doing more to try to set up, and then it started. Now you have the little rush kind of feeling. You have these different little things, and it just didn't feel like it completed the season, right? And so, and then trying to set up some things, right? It didn't really make the things that they were doing hit. So I'll use an example, and I say this, and I have to make sure for myself when I'm watching these things, and I'm not trying to write the show myself, right? Or two, if I'm going away from the story that they tell, if I'm making a big deal about something that's really what the show about. And I know we talked a lot about Sabine, right? We went on, and I was fascinated about it. It's like my fault. But her becoming a Jedi or not really wasn't what the show was about, right? Really, whether she did or she didn't, what happened to him was going to happen to him, right? Unless we get into like future storytelling. That's an example. That was more for something in the future, whether they're doing a new Jedi Order or whatever it is. That was more for that. But to have the things that she did come up at that time, we didn't even get up to the point where that might be a thing, right? She went full in, right? When she pushed Ezra, but like, where did that come from? And I'm not saying it in a way where it's like, oh, they just gonna make her powerful. No, not that. It was just, we knew she was gonna become one, but the moment that she became one didn't fit with the things that led up to it, in my opinion, right? So when she got, basically, I'm saying Jedi. I'm using the term Jedi, but when the Force came to her, right? When the Force came to her, it was like, that didn't really, it went from, okay, now she got it and she could push Ezra across the thing, right? Like it was more of,
it was anticlimactic.
It was anticlimactic. You saying it better. It was more seeming for something, a future storytelling, as opposed to what it was doing for the season that we were in. Like for the season that we were in my opinion, she should have never got it. Because we went 6 episodes where she couldn't conjure it, and nothing happened. Nothing happened that would make it seem like that she could do that now.
That was my question. What made her? What was it that pushed her over the edge? Like what got her over the hump? What was it?
And it really felt like, because we was a season in, we was at the end of the season, and like we didn't have this moment, right? Like it wasn't like she did what Obi did when he's like, I don't want to show it, and Leia was falling. I have to show it now, right? Like something where, so maybe it was Ezra, like maybe he was trying to jump and he couldn't, and then she just in fear it can't, happen. It might have been more climactic than when it did.
That would have been great if Ahsoka wouldn't have just said, "Sabine, help!" when they were riding when they were riding up to the doors, and the door was closing. Sabine, help! Ezra sitting there, Sabine, help. That's how you introduce her force powers?
Yeah,
and then what's the, if that's how you gonna do it, then what's the point of doing the whole she getting choked out thing and she finally can summon the lightsaber and stab the trooper in the helmet? What was the point of that if you just did it, if you just explained it away with Sabine, help?
Yeah.
Just because you just because you commanded her to use the force, she can use it. Just because you say that she's been working on her lightsaber skills, she's this amazing lightsaber fighter now.
Like, were you blocking her from doing, like, we never got that. So the way the way it presented, right, the way it presented, the way it happened, it won that climactic, and it just didn't. It just didn't really fit, right? It was gonna happen. I'm not tripping on that. I don't even care, like, because I had to think about it. Like, as much nonsense I made about, or much noise I made about it, never really was part of the story, right? It never really, not part of it. I'm not. It never really impacted the story, right? Like, what was going to happen, whether she can do that or not. I have my own things that I wanted that to be. I have my own all this, but that wasn't it. Like, I mean, like it wasn't the main thing of the show, right? So 7 and 8 felt, I don't want to use the term because that's overused a little. I don't say overused. I'll be piggybacking off what a lot of people say about being rushed. It was just, it felt more like I was watching a setup for something later than just them completing this season, if that makes sense. Right. Again, I'm like you. Good show, not great. And I think
never reached greatness for me.
From what we was getting when we got to like 4, 5, and 6, right? It kind of went back to 3, 2, and 1, right? Like, then the season ended the way it kind of began. It was just, and it was those kind of like, because there was some dope things that happened, right? It was some dope things that happened. Like, and even and I'm sounding like a complaint because I am complaining about the last episode because it was like the Shin, the Balin. I mean, I love to see that, but like Balin at the end and all that, but that's it. And that's a whole nother thing. Like, I know we said, yo, go watch Clone Wars. Yo, go watch the Wars. I mean, go watch Clone Wars. Go watch Rebels. But you gotta really have been watching and be like, when you see them statues, that meant something to you. You could love Star Wars and never really watch that 3-episode arc because that's all it was, right? The more this arc didn't matter, but anything before it and anything after,
right? It don't have no impact on the original trilogy or the prequels, really.
It don't do nothing.
It's an arc. It's a small little arc within the Clone Wars and between the Clone Wars and the Rebels. It's a Dave Filoni thing. You got to be a Dave Filoni fan to really understand what the hell that was. Even when he look at the mountain and you see the light coming out, all that, you got to really have watched. So that only spoke to a small little niche within the niche that it already is of Clone Wars / Rebel fan. It's a niche within a niche. Because even Clone War, even myself, I had to really look at that. Like, wait, I saw that shit before. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, I think that's what I think it is, and it was.
I'm sure most. Like, I was like, damn, that's dope. But my thought was, like, damn, we could have really led to that. Like, he had been leading. Like, you want to talk about somebody that was leading or something? Something's calling me. How many times we talk about that? And like episode 7 or 8 kind of should have been a lot about that. Yeah. Right. Like, because it seems like that's something that's going to figure in, like going, not, so we just didn't need like last minute Easter eggs, right? Last minute Easter eggs for that to be that. So that's where I was at the end with a lot of things. Like, I got a lot of Easter eggs. I got a lot of breadcrumbs across the floor to lead me on, stay on the trail, but it just didn't complete what I just sat down for 7 weeks prior to watch, in my opinion.
To be fair, you made a great point. Like, you summed it up, because to be fair, we were early, but we were like hoping that this wouldn't happen. But we did point this out in our video, in our like pre-season video before the season started. We pointed this out. We said, I hope Dave Filoni gives us a beginning, middle, and end season. Don't give us a season as if you know you're going to get a second season, which now they even can't coming out and saying second season like 2 or 3 years away. We know we had the strikes and all that stuff. We might not get a second season. So it's like, we talked about this. We were like, I hope Dave give us a full season, because The Mandalorian did. if you were to, if there never was a season 2 or 3, the Mandalorian season 3 stands on his own. It
I think all
ends.
three of them do that.
All three of them, exactly. All three of
Season
them
one
managed to
ends,
do that, especially the
they have
second
to
one.
make another one. Second season, to
Second
the
and
point
third,
where I
you're
was
right.
telling
You're
you,
right.
like, I
All
don't
three of
even
them.
think they need to make another season. Everyone
Facts.
ends.
Every season ends like that, where you like, well, I guess we can end it here.
We're gonna do no
3
more.
being my least favorite, but still,
Yeah.
you're right. The show should have ended on season 2.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, like, I think we can
That's
wrap it
peak.
up. You know what I mean?
That's good as it get, right?
It don't get no better. And then we proved in season 3, it don't get no better than that. It only can go down from here. He didn't do that with this. He it's all like, this is part 1 of some trilogy or the beginning of some, storyline. Like, and I don't think that's what. Yeah, I didn't want that. And I think that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, unless you know that the second season is coming up. Oh no, it's gonna be out in a year and a half or whatever, or it'll be out next year. It's like, all right, yeah. I'll be looking forward to. I only say I don't want that because I know I'm not getting the second season right away. I'm not getting the second part or the follow up to all these threads that you left out here. So what we end up with is this first season, like you said, and then you just drop a bucket full of Easter eggs on us to end the season, like Balin on the statue, looking over looking at the mountain. Shin
with the nomads.
Shin with the nomads. Ezra makes it home. It's like, really cut out all that other stuff. You should have the episode. You're right. The episode should have been about that stuff with Shin and Balin, and then we just end with Ezra making it home. I'm cool with that. But the other threads and stuff, I'm like, damn, we didn't even see those characters until that moment. That's the only time we see those characters. That's wild. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be like, you compare that to the Mandalorian season 1, that'd be like us seeing Gideon only when he cut himself out of the TIE fighter. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he got the dark saber. Like, what?
Yeah.
What was that? Like, don't do that, man. Like, give us a complete season. It just, to end like that, man.
Yeah, Filoni didn't end the season. This part where Filoni needed, to me, this how I feel. Like I say, there was parts of it. It was Star Wars as hell. Thoroughly, I'm talking about the season. The season was good.
The season was good. Yeah,
7.5, whatever you want to get your little numbers, whatever. 7, something.
I give it a 7. Yeah,
I would probably say, and it's the time. It's Filoni's the god. We was shields, and we slurped. Pause of Filoni.
They call it shields. Yeah,
but this is the part where Filoni probably needed Favreau again. Like, yeah, let's fit. Like, you did it, but you got to tie this up. You got to tie this up more, probably because the season is ending. Even if you know you got a season 2, like a perfect example, like you just said with the Darksaber, the season ended. Grief looked at Mando and was like, well, maybe he'll take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got more pressing matters to take care of him. Maybe it'll take care of you. That was the end of the season. He flew off with them. Cool. Whatever their next adventure was going to be it or not, right? We just got a Mandalorian story. Like, wow, who would have thought? Then we get a post credit or whatever it was at the end where he go, oh, okay, Filoni, that's Filoni throwing a little something in there. Cool. He got the Darksaber. What does that mean? Like, okay, cool. But the season ended, right?
Yeah, you got the season. The season was done. You got what you paid for.
Yeah. Season it ended. Even we already said that everybody wasn't gonna make it back, and I was gonna be in the end of the season. But it was like, hold on, man, what was this thing about Balin? And that's it. And then they got a whole nother story. Like his mission was the Mortis. That's what was calling to him, and we don't get that into a montage. That's the kind of thing I'm saying, right? Like, yo, you slow walk that. Like, you slow walk that. Like, you could have combined 6 and 7, right? You could have combined 6 and 7. Some of the stuff at 6 was great, don't get me wrong, but like some of the stuff that was happening between the two, could maybe combine that a little bit so that we can get to that point. We had this whole thing with, like you said, he jettisoned his Padawan, but like it just didn't tie it up. I'm just repeating myself, but like, yeah, I felt empty at the end where I was like, better be a post credit or something, man. Like, at least give me something. Like, I don't care if I see these little kids that's gonna be in the next show. Like, you got to give me something to walk away with a vibe. But like the things that give me pause, that gets me nervous about because how this ended, and I think about Mando season 3. and then all these nuggets that they throw in and all these things they say, it makes me really want to look at it and be like, before I go too far feeling one way or another, maybe I might be missing the boat about what this is all about. Once Mando ended season 2, once Luke took the child, everything since then. I know we had the little 2-part with Luke and the Mando and all that, and Boba.
Yeah.
Boba like kind of stands on itself, but everything's that happened since then has really been about the New Republic. This is the story of the New Republic that we're watching. This is not really a story of
it's the heroes
New Jedi.
Of the New Republic. So, yeah.
It's the story of the New Republic, and probably from where they're going right now, the fall of the New Republic. And like this is really the story they tell.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is what Filoni is doing.
Yeah.
It's not so some of the things that may be happening, some of the things that may happen, from like, oh well, we get these little trinkets in between, but really this is what we watching, right? Like, so whatever this next, I don't know, I don't know if they're doing shoots or reshoots or they haven't finished before the strikes happen. But whether it's this, whether it's another season of whatever, and even if it's that, just finish the thing. Just finish the thing, man. And I don't think, for all the love we gave Filoni, got to go on the other side and look at it like Filoni didn't finish the job.
Nah, he didn't get. We talk about sports all the time.
He didn't finish the
Sport,
job.
we make the sports. You're right. Like, it's like saying somebody didn't play a complete, or they didn't coach a complete game, right? You left points on the board, or you know what I mean. You said, you called you got to finish the game. You know what I mean? You got to coach a complete game. You can't just be like, oh, we scored, yes. You running down the sideline. Meanwhile, you didn't even tell them if you're going for the when they do that, they immediately throw up that 2 or that 1.
Yeah.
You just celebrate. You just threw, well, we did it. We scored. You ain't even telling them whether or not we going for 1 or 2. So it's like, coach a complete game. That's the sports analogy. But yeah, you're right. He didn't finish the job. It's your job, B. Like, you the showrunner. Buck stop with you. And yeah, I love all this fanfare and member berries and nostalgia you dropped on us, man. I called it. We called it earlier in the season. This is my whole thing was, let's get past this whole argument of whether or not this is Star Wars. It was, even down to the dialogue. Like, people complain about the dialogue a lot, but I'm like, that's to a fault. He follows the prequels. Like, yeah, and I want to get your opinion on this. But I mean, I did have some issues. And going back to what you said about Sabine, and you start, because it's like you said, man, the season was good. The finale wasn't good in my opinion, but season was it was decent. You know what I mean? Good, not great, never great. But the season was okay, but the finale, again, not to repeat myself, but speaking back to what you said about Sabine and just Sabine on the show in general, my problem, this I think this does speak to a bigger part of my problem with what's going on with Star Wars right now. I hate to be that guy, the problems with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But this has been going on for a while, man. And it's I guess you would call it like trivialize, like if you make like they making the Force more and more trivial, right? It seems like, you know what I mean? Where like, damn, man, y'all gotta quit. Y'all gotta put some more respect on the Force, man. This is getting wild. Like, you gotta, like, I thought they kind of corrected this with Dave and John taking over. You know what I mean? Where they kind of put some respect back on the Force, even though they was, even though Grogu was doing a lot of stuff, and it's like, but cool, you know what I mean? Clearly, he was passing out, It's like, okay, all right, I can follow that, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, yeah, he a little creature, you know what I mean? He ain't just out here lifting up Star Destroyers and nah, man, he used the Force. It take a lot out of him. That makes sense, you know what I mean? And he's trying to remember. He got trauma and all this stuff going on. That's a story. That's an arc I can follow. But what they did with Sabine, you took a great character. You took a great character who didn't need the Force. You called it. All that stuff that happened, she didn't need the Force. Everything that happens in the show is inconsequential to her having the Force. Even the her getting Ezra up into the Star Destroyer. You could have wrote that off by, oh, I got a jetpack.
Yeah, so
shoot him up in the jetpack and then go help Ahsoka. Like, but this idea that you just threw the Force in there and Deus Ex Machina and everything, and she got the Force now. It was too much, man. It was too much. It was like Ezra got the Force, Ahsoka got the Force. Let Sabine be the character who don't got the Force. Let Sabine, like it seemed like the story was going in that direction. Like I know you said that you knew it was gonna happen. Me, I knew it too, but I was hoping it would. Because I'm like, damn,
100%.
she don't need the Force.
She never.
She don't need the Force.
I can't wait to the. And my bad, I mean the question because I think you're going to ask a question.
Sorry, no, I'm just going. What you think about? Like, what do you think about the?
I would
about
to criticize
the trivialization of the Force.
To criticize Filoni again. Loved him up the whole season, so I gotta shoot it to him straight. He failed Sabine's character. Sabine was already a dope character.
Yeah,
she had to hold everything together. Like
he ain't need to put dubs on Sabine, bro. Like
he didn't need to put 100 on 10. Like he didn't need to do that with her. She was already a dope character, right? So whether if it was a coming of age and you just needed to kind of deconstruct her to bring her back to what she needed to be, cool. But she needed to be that. The Force was not. And it's a weird thing when you hear. I'll be glad when the strikes and stuff is over, right? Everybody doing their thing, but I want to hear Filoni talk, right? I like to hear him talk about this because sometimes Filoni will give you that where he will like trivialize different portions of different things, like because it's his point of view, right? And he'll do that, and we're like, the Force is just the Force, and like I want to hear him actually say it and come out and talk about it. How he saw that, right? Because you're right, it didn't the way it came to her, and it was like that's the Force is like that. No, that ain't the Filoni. If anybody else did, we'd be killing that person who did that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If anybody else did that, we'd be killing that person. So yeah, I didn't like how it was done. One, her, but at a larger picture, the Force. Like that shit that you can't have you. When my guy said, because I did like that. When my guy said the Force is my ally, right? Once I got out my feelings that he didn't take the saber, I like that.
Yeah.
He was doing that shit. I like that. Right?
Yeah, to have it. He immediately built one in the finale. Like,
then he was right back at it. And that's back to that. Like some of the things that was happening, you can't even appreciate the Kanan moment that they was talking about because we rushed back to the point where we had to be out there with Ahsoka and Sabine talking like they should have all, because they all like anybody who sat here and watches, we all know that Kanan tried to show Sabine what was up, and all they did was like, I remember, like that was just, it was like, come on, can we get some of that?
I want to ask you about that too.
Can we get some of that?
Well,
like they just go ahead. My bad.
My bad. What I'm asking you is, okay, because you're right that moment. So am I missing something? Maybe because I might have missed it, man, or maybe I'm just not thinking of it. I haven't thought about it because I haven't watched it in a while. Am I missing something though with Ahsoka and Sabine? Because I don't remember them having a relationship.
They never said a word to each other, B.
So this whole show, this whole premise is.
It's just weird.
Then that hurts the show for me. I gotta take some of my review back then. I'm giving it a 6 now. Because you built the whole show on a premise of something we didn't see. You went from, I don't like that. Now I'm looking at Filoni like, okay, you just made something up.
He made that. They did have the prologue. They whole shit is off the prologue, right? From the end, the epilogue. The epilogue. I always say it wrong. They whole shit is off the epilogue, but the epilogue, because they changed it. When we left, the epilogue was going to go get Easy.
That's what I'm saying.
The epilogue wasn't them to connect.
You made it up. So I can't, man. That hurts, man. Because I was really thinking about this. Because I didn't really, because I was so bummed about the finale. I didn't even go back and watch Rebels again to even answer the question. I'm just like, when we talk about it. Not knowing that we was gonna wait 3 weeks to talk about it, but I was like, when we talk about it, man, I'm gonna ask Big Homie about it because maybe I'm missing something. Because I do miss stuff sometimes. Even though I watch it over and over again, I'll miss it. I'll just be like, damn, I missed that part.
I would imagine they don't even got like words. I'm trying to think. Like I know they connect. They might have had a Ahsoka's over there kind of line, but never like
this whole idea that they got this relationship and they fell out. All this is done off camera.
Everything.
All this is just them telling us That's horrible story. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that with Star Wars, especially. It's one thing to be like, hey, no, my dad didn't fight in the Clone Wars. No, he was, no, he was a Jedi. Like, we were Jedi. Then it's like, ooh, because you're gonna show me the lightsaber right away. Like, he showed Luke the lightsaber. That's one thing, you know what I mean? But to be like, this idea that they had this, it never, and that's the reason why I never like click with me that they had. I didn't care about the melodrama that they had between each other, because it's like, y'all never talked in Rebels. Y'all ain't friends.
That's why I kind of was like, remember when we first was doing the reviews, that was like, I felt like I was making too much out of the stuff. So I keep saying, like, man, I kept talking about Sabine and all, because it just never made sense. That I was like, I wonder what happened. And I'm like, well, maybe I guess it must not be that big a deal, because I'm the only one that really cared, like, in the universe about what it was, but it never was. They kept telling us like little pieces in between. This is where Filoni got us. And shout out to Filoni, but we got to tell him like it is. This is where he got us, because this where we would have been way more on that had we didn't get Baylan. See, Baylan masked that. And as you can see, everything we gonna say, and then we get an incredible Anakin episode. So right about time, once we got more Baylan and all this stuff happened, we ain't got to really worry about this backstory and be like, well, wait, they whole thing was just to go get Ezra. Their whole thing wasn't about anything else before that. Like, we connecting to go get the guy, right? That's how we leave Rebels, right? Like, we left Rebels. Oh, them two going together to go get Ezra, go get Young Easy. Great, I'm with that. Oh, damn, she was her master. It was a Padawan, and they was trying to train up for whatever, but then Mandalore went down and she left because she was training for the wrong reasons, and whoopty whoop, and I still wasn't really over Anakin and all this play. We can mask all that by how dope Baylan was, right? We got Thrawn coming, right?
I'm fixated on
all that, and that part was dope, right? Everything with Baylan was incredible, right? So we don't nitpick on that and why that really never made sense, right? Why Filoni chose that, and then chose that, like, if anything, it would have been like, why wouldn't Ahsoka train Jason? Kind of would have been made more sense. Like, hey, you should that's Kanan's son. Y'all getting this guy actually is he force sensitive. He did see that. But yeah, they never had that, and it never, and for them to have this kinship, and it's like, what is their kinship based on? It'd be one thing if, like, she was doing that, they found Ezra, and them two was connecting again, and then they had conflict, and it was like, but they got her and Ezra connected, right? Ezra connect. He pulled her out the world between worlds.
Yeah,
they're connected, because that didn't even seem like at the end like they was really like, oh, hey, what's up? Hey, it's good to see you, big dog. Hey, I can't call it. You know what I'm saying? I can't call it. Hey, I cut off mine.
I came through on my end. I mean, bro, I'm here, bro. Hey, you see me?
A small thing to a giant. Like, they talking that. They rushing off each other. It ain't really like they had a connection. And I think that's if you want to talk about something that hurts the show, it even hurt the relationships all them three had. It was like, well, who's the coolest with each other when we meet each other? Like, is it her, and is it him and her? And because it was still about them two, and it was like, is it really like, hey, when she see Ezra, it's them, or when Ahsoka see Ezra, and then they like, nah, I was really okay. I'm gonna come see you make the saber, but I'm gonna go out there and talk to Ahsoka, and we gonna have this kind of like, I guess that speech put her at ease or whatever. But it was just, it was weird. It was weird. We would have talked about it more, Baylan, probably, and I mean, we talked about it.
Was cool.
Not to big myself up. I kept bringing that shit up. Like, what the hell they got going on? If we looked at some of our early, like,
that's a good, that's a good point.
But like, what do they got going on? Like, what was they training? What was they training for? Like, why would they be? And even I tried to brush it off, like, the prologue, the epilogue was from Ahsoka's point of view, but no, Filoni just changed that shit.
He just changed it. That's what I mean.
He just changed. That's why I want to hear him talk. I can't wait to celebration or whatever it is. Like, what happened?
But see, this is what I mean. But this is my problem. This is the problem with, and I'm saying this not politically or not like, I'm not speaking in terms of identity politics, and I'm not speaking in those terms. What I'm saying is, this is the problem when you start a show with agendas. Listen to what I'm saying now. I'm not talking about an agenda politically, like they had, oh no, women. No. When you as a writer, you sort of obstruct yourself when you say Sabine got to be a Jedi. Instead of just going with the story that you wrote, which
story.
was Vizsla was her relative, her ancestor, I guess you would call it. Or she was an ancestor of Vizsla.
House of Vizsla, yep.
Yeah. So I get that. So that little seed was planted. But you went into this thing, Filoni, I'm talking about Filoni went into this thing, Sabine is going to become a Jedi. Even though we got 8 episodes, and we got to jam-pack a bunch of stuff in there, and the show's supposed to be about Ahsoka, and they really supposed to be rescuing Ezra, who's already a Jedi. Ahsoka's already a Jedi. But I want Sabine to be a Jedi. So he already had that as an agenda.
Yeah, he boxed himself in.
He boxed himself in because now it's like, oh shit, now I got to make up stuff and I don't even have time to show it. I already got, because you looking at the writers already looking like, well, damn, Dave, we already got flashbacks from the Anakin episode already got like 8 flashbacks. We can't do no more flashbacks, which makes sense. You're not gonna do a flashback and show this training montage that they, all this training that he's talking about. So he painted himself into a corner by saying Sabine had to be a Jedi, when that could have came about a little bit more naturally through the show, and the drama could have developed through the show, as opposed to us having to just hear about it and not care about it because we have no connection to it because we don't know what they're talking about. Even as a Rebels fan, you have nothing
already know.
Yeah, we have no reference. We can't even look at it, like, oh man, you know what, man? Damn, they was going at it in Rebels. Man, we get the part about Ezra and why Sabine is so fixated on Ezra. We can understand that, even though they kind of he turned it up a little bit for this show, but we can see why. Okay, yeah, they were close. It was a brother and sister bond, even though that's some bullshit. They did have a little bond or whatever. You know what I mean? And, so you get why she yearns to find Ezra. You get why Ahsoka wants to find Ezra. They got, like, you pointed this out. I'm repeating what you said. You said it better. He pulled her through that door. So we get why these two characters are connected. What we don't understand is why did you create this drama about them working together when it should have been whatever drama they had should have developed because they were working together. You get what I'm saying? I'm kind of like,
no, 100%.
I'm kind of like inflating it a little bit, but
I'll add one caveat to that.
What's that?
Thrawn was never Ahsoka's thing.
That's another thing.
Right.
We talked about
so
this too.
It still should have been a circumstance.
Yeah.
Through the natural progression of the show that Thrawn became a problem, right? Like, I know she threw that in, like, where's Thrawn, but like we leave the Mandalorian episode 10, the Jedi, where she says, where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? So everybody who went bananas for that moment went bananas like, oh, that means Ezra, right? Like, she looking for Ezra, right?
Yeah.
But then we get to the show, and she wasn't looking for Ezra.
It's Filoni, man.
But she looking for Thrawn, right? She's looking for Thrawn to make sure he don't come back at the risk of Ezra not coming back. Like, that's not in sync with how we left.
Facts.
That's not even in sync with. That's not even in sync.
There it goes. There lies the problem.
That's not even in sync with episode 10, where she says, "Where's your master? Where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" Because if that was the case, when she would have, the better line would have been, not better line, but like a different kind of way to look at it, or like, she don't need to know where he is. She just need to know what y'all trying to do to get him. So I'm gonna stop that. I'm stopping that so y'all can't go get him. I know you trying to bring him back, but that's not how that was presented when she said that line. We all was like, "Oh shit, Ezra."
We got a shot
because she found Thrawn, she found Ezra. That's how we left them in Rebels. We left them in Rebels like that, but that's not how they showed up on the show. Right? It just got. I keep repeating myself in the thing, like, and we said that. I looked at our
we pointed
the show.
out.
But it got masked by how dope Balin was and the things that were
Yeah.
happening around that whole Peridia shit, that everything up to getting to Peridia, right? Everything up to the point the moment they left when they left and was like the end of the new prologue. Once they did the new Republic, they did the new prologue. So once they went on their journey and then they got there and that's everything up to like seeing Ezra. Once they get there, right? Because that was dope too. All that stuff up to seeing him, like that was a different show. And it was different storytelling, right? Like now we was on program, we was on mission, but the shit around that was about a new story for characters we already knew, a new story that let me just have to say this right. It was a new story, a new version of the story that we already knew. And it was like, hold on, wait, what?
Yeah.
They were going to get Ezra. Now it ain't about Ezra. They were going to do this. It ain't about this. They never have a relationship, but now she's a Padawan. She never. Why would it? Like all these different things. Like, well, this not what we left. We had a whole 4 seasons before of this. So yeah, that part of it, like you say, if you said it too, man, I'm still gonna give it a 7. But I get your point.
It's like you could have made this a sequel to those 2 shows, but it's really not, because there's a story. There's a story in between even those shows and this show. There's a story there that we get told about, where we didn't get to see it, we didn't get to read it.
There was a whole other show.
No comic book, we didn't get to see it in a video game. It's a whole show there of something. Maybe you call it Apprentice, maybe you call it New Master, something Jedi Mandalorian, whatever you want to call it. There's something there. They built this whole entire show off of that, and that doesn't even exist. So that's my biggest problem. That's my biggest gripe with this show, and that's why I'm bumping it down to a 6. Because you just made something up when you really didn't have to. But you seem to have wanted to really wanted to get characters to a certain point. I despise that. Like I hate that. I hate when they do that. So you wanted to get that for Sabine.
Yeah, that's crazy for Filoni.
You wanted to make her a Jedi. It's like, it's nothing. It's nothing there. It's like
she had the Darksaber and she didn't want it.
Yeah. Right? Like what was you pushed this character.
That was
clearly had an arc.
That was your arc.
Going,
yeah.
She was trained, as to use the Darksaber. And there was all these points made about how the Jedi beat the Mandalorians and all this. Like she was going in a direction, and then, but it's like they never hinted that she was going to beat because she was the ancestor of Vizsla, that she was going to be the next Vizsla. Like you didn't set that up. You didn't earn that.
They didn't do no seed. They didn't set no seed.
You didn't earn that.
So, I mean, they had a whole thing where she gave it up. Like she gave Bo-Katan, like it'd have been better. Like it'd have been crazy. Like you say, it was a whole show that happened before this show. It'd have made more sense for Sabine that she would they would have showed her being pissed off at Bo-Katan. Like I gave you the thing to lead, and look what you did with our like that's what
she doesn't even.
I would have thought her animosity was there. Like nothing was ever said about that. So like you said, there was a whole show that happened. Right, it wasn't earned when they was in that little period where they set out the big game, and then it wasn't earned in this fight. It just wasn't. And actually it's that kind of a damn, that's shitty, man. It's actually kind of a fail on Filoni's part to explain to us the reason why Ahsoka wasn't in the fight, because he was training Sabine. That don't go together. Like I gotta get another story. That ain't enough.
That ain't enough, bro.
I'm not doing it because we got it. Yeah, we was training Sabine. Like that ain't enough. No, that ain't enough. Like why we want to train? We out here. Come and get in this action right here.
You want to get rid of what you want. You don't want Thrawn to come back though. You so pro keeping the New Republic together. You didn't even apparently you didn't fight for it though. Yeah, you sat out the big game. Luke won the war. So it's like Anakin's son won the war. So it's like, but then you like, oh no, we can't let Thrawn come back. He'll bring war. You wasn't in the big war.
I don't know why he died. I honestly, I would like to. Filoni will talk to you. I like to hear him talk about like he ain't gonna get nobody. He ain't gonna take no like ain't nobody gonna question him, right? I just want to hear his.
I just
No,
wonder why
Filoni give
though.
you a like when they do the thing. Like I ain't never
Hey.
been anticipated for the thing they do. You know that like they do after the
Galleries and all
Mandalorian,
that.
the
Yeah, yeah.
gallery situation, and when he
That's
got to
cool.
talk about that.
Because of the galleries, though, I'm taking you face value. I'm no longer questioning because I'm already assuming
Get that
you told
gallery.
the story you were supposed to tell. I'm not gonna question you anymore because you gave me a gap. Last time y'all unloaded a clip, letting us know that hey, no, this was our story about Mando season 3. Y'all really did that with Boba. Like, y'all. So I'm no longer
This one gonna
assuming
be tough though. This one gonna be tough.
it is, but I'm no longer assuming that somebody else was in there. You know that there was some stuff behind the scenes drama going on. Like I'm just going off, especially with this show. I would think if they was gonna give Dave anything where they wasn't gonna tamper, it was gonna be Ahsoka. So I'm assuming, bro, this is your story. This is you. This is you. You did this, and then it wasn't no tampering going on from Story Group or God
Company,
forbid,
all
Kathleen
that stuff.
Kennedy or whatever. Like, I'm thinking, hey, no, this on you, Dave. Unless you say something different in them galleries where you be like, well, you know, Ray, passed away. Because maybe you had to pivot a little bit because, rest in peace. Ray, Balin's actor passed away. So
Yeah, right.
maybe you did have
Ray
to
Parker.
change some things, especially with that finale. Like maybe you had to cut a significant part out. But from my understanding, they had already filmed all that stuff out before he passed, right? Like he didn't die or he didn't
No,
pass
he
away.
passed like literally right before the like a little bit after celebration.
Yeah, so this is already done. So that scene is the scene. It wasn't like I don't think they took. Now, I mean, if they did take something out, it'd be maybe it's because they know they can't continue on with the character, but you did leave him in there. So I'm assuming, man, what you showed us is what was meant to be shown. So with that, yeah, now I gotta criticize Dave, man. I know, man, we gave him praise all season, but now
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
So let me ask you
lost
this:
me on that one.
Is it so in that right? Because and for me, and I keep saying it, but for me, I'm looking at it like the reason why I'm keeping it at a 7, right? Is that is I'm gonna repeat myself. Does it pull down the other stuff that was going on in this show? Okay, let me ask it a better way. What's your positive takeaway from the show?
Let's look at the positives because we did go straight into the negative. Focus on the negative for an hour.
It was a season finale. I mean, we gave them.
Yeah,
They got.
yeah.
Hey man, they got about 8 other hours. I was just loving that thing.
We was
Pause.
loving it. We was, but there's a such thing as, and we say this about the trilogies. We say this about the 2 trilogies all the time, right? Like we say this about Force. I said this about Force Awakens. Force Awakens is a worse movie because of The Last Jedi in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like you need
Yeah.
that second movie to solidify the first. Sometimes you do. Like I think A New Hope is just a great movie. You're right. Like it's one of the greatest movies ever made. The trench run and all that. Just the visuals at the time when that movie. That's always that stands on its own as a great movie. But when you throw in the Empire Strikes Back, it changes A New Hope. Like it catapults it in a lot of ways. Whereas we see the opposite of what The Last Jedi did to The Force Awakens. My point is, there is a such thing as a finale can sour the rest of the season. Now,
FedEx.
I didn't, or episode can sour previous episodes. Is what I'm saying when but I'm not even really saying that with necessarily with this season because, like you said, we had some good moments. But it just where I would answering your question, where I would say the positive is, I guess you can say that we are now, again, we did add more importance to the New Republic, right? And we are now getting to the point where the sense of urgency now is like we have a villain too, right? Which we didn't have before. Even Gideon was Mandalorian's villain. We now got a villain that deserves, that can be, his face can pop up in every season.
galactic villain.
Yeah, like
villain.
he can be in whatever projects they do from now on. He can pop up, and he would be. He's not just frozen in the Ahsoka. No, he's the guy now.
Mm-hmm.
You see Thrawn coming back with his army and all that. Once he arrives back in the galaxy, he's the guy. So we got a villain now. We got like
they let us know. My bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I keep
No,
cutting
go
you.
ahead.
I was gonna say they let us know that Gideon was a bit player.
Yeah, Gideon is. Yeah, he was.
He wasn't a galactic threat.
To the Mandalorians and Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. You know what I mean? Like
I remember at Harris' trial, it was like, yeah, Gideon did that. He did that over there.
He was never going to be a threat. He was so insignificant to them that they didn't even take him serious. Like they didn't even properly transport him and make sure that he was taking the like they didn't care. Like Thrawn is going to demand attention, right? So what I'm getting at is
Gideon ain't even get that Morgan work. Morgan was strapped up. She was in the thing. They had to come. They had to come and wreck a New Republic ship. Gideon was in a little transport, like
man, it's goofy, but yeah, they didn't even because he wasn't Thrawn. Like he wasn't the mastermind that Thrawn was. He wasn't a threat. So with that is like now we do have an established villain. And I always say this: like Star Wars needs a villain. You need that guy. You know what I mean, Emperor or whoever. Like you need a big bad. So we got that now for the first time in like a long time. You know what I mean? So heir to the Empire, if that's gonna be the case, you could do so much with that, right? And people got, you know what I mean, people got all up in arms about why is she in the heir Empire? And it's like, just calm down. Right. This is the first part to like a large story. Luke can pop up and be the guy. This is just the first. If anything, it's like the prelude, right? This is like the prequel to the heir to whatever the heir to the Empire is going to be. Luke can pop up and be the hero. He's in the galaxy. He's got to respond to Thrawn. Like it'll be a travesty if they just ignore Luke. Like if Luke just don't say nothing, like even if you gotta, even though this would be some bullshit, but even you gotta at least have a cameo where Luke acknowledges, like, oh, okay, yeah, or they say his name, like, yeah, we got Luke Skywalker, and he's gonna be in the fleet too. Rogue Squadron here. Luke's joining us. Like, whatever you do, whatever nostalgia, member you drop, do it.
They do that shit.
Nah,
man,
but
damn, boy.
But you gotta show. But you can't do that though. Even that'll be a travesty. He really needs to be in the joint on, but he really needs to be a part of the show. But the point I'm making is, at least now we do have a villain. We got a villain. I think he's gonna get better when they pull him away. I'm kind of. It sounds like I'm dissing. I am kind of. But when maybe they like, all right, you got your. Because Filoni didn't do the greatest job with. He didn't do the greatest job with Thrawn. It's other people that can do shit with Thrawn better. I'm sorry, like. It's just the truth from the books.
Somebody said something that maybe I took it as hating. Now that you say that, I took it as hating.
I'm hating.
No. But no, it's a true line, man. You gotta. I mean, we leveled him up. We gotta say this stuff too. Remember that scene? Because remember that scene with when Ahsoka was out in space.
Yeah.
Right, and it was like somebody was like, they said JJ would have directed the hell out of that scene. And I had to think about that shit. Like JJ might have killed that scene. JJ might have killed. JJ might.
The two sabers crossing each other.
JJ might. It made me think about that when you just said that line. I was like, somebody said that like yeah, that was cool, but JJ would have killed that part right there. JJ would have killed. But yeah, but Miami.
He would have mystery boxed the hell out of everything else though. But I agree with that scene. Right? I'm hating on JJ now, but I agree with that. I agree with that. That's
JJ just called straight.
That's a funny ass line right there. That's because that's true. It's funny, but it's true. Like I think other people kind of was disappointed in Thrawn. I wasn't. From how we talked about it, we were pretty much happy with Thrawn. I do think he was kind of like. The decision making was kind of off in the finale, but for the most part, I ain't gonna shit. Thrawn was all right. I think Thrawn gets better. What they got to make sure they don't just marry Thrawn to Filoni. He's the villain now. Let other writers get in there and do stuff with Thrawn. Meaning, I'm really saying let John take over Thrawn.
Let John, lift John come in. But that kind of what you just said goes with what the end of the season was. Like, if you don't know. You don't know how dope Thrawn is. The season didn't give you that. It was waiting on like, oh, well, he's going to be. We still needed to see a show of strength. Like, no, we saving that for something else. And it's like, what are we saving that for? We got Thrawn.
Yeah.
We have to.
Show me Thrawn. Give me Thrawn.
He got to do
blame
something.
It on Filoni. Yeah,
he got to do something. Like, what are we saving? My boy used to always tell me this. Get your check. You might go cop some gear. Right?
I know you go.
Yeah. Like, go cop some gear. And I'm like, I'm on my side, like, oh shit, I like this shirt. Hey, I'm gonna say this for the. He's looking at me. What you saving it for, man? We going out tonight.
Exactly.
That shit I hate that, man. Bro.
I'm still like that to this day.
Saving it for?
Yeah, I
still like that.
People that just leave shit in their car. I'm the opposite. I'm like, man, wear that shit, man. Like,
wear that shit? Oh man,
well, I get on my wife about that. Like, why are you putting that in? Where? Like people that collect like shoe collecting, that's different. But I'm talking about like people that clothes they just never wear, and they just that's my shirt right there, man. Yeah, I bought that. Yeah, I bought that like 3 months ago. Yeah, I'm saving it though. What you saving it for, bro? Where you going? Are you going on vacation?
Are you going to saving it for
or whatever? Like you going to an event? Like what are you saving this shit for? B, like wear this shit, man. Like what we doing here? Like I'm the opposite, bro. I get on everybody for that. Like,
oh man, so we was roommates. Shit. That's why he knew. We was roommates. So that's how he knew. Like,
funny as hell.
Oh shit! Like, hey, I'm gonna kill him in this, boy. He said, "Hey, you ain't wearing that tonight?" Like, nah, that's gonna be for the. It's gonna be for the. What you saving it for, man? We going out tonight.
Oh man,
we going out tonight. What are you saving that for, man? You already. But that was how I felt about Thrawn. Like, what are we saving? And that's like the poster child of what I meant. What I spent 40 minutes before just talking about was like we just saved.
That's true. Yeah,
we did a whole season saving what he was about. Right.
I'm giving it a 6, bro. I'm giving it a 6.
We didn't have to do that.
I was at a 7, but you're right, man. Y'all saved. Yeah, you're right. You didn't give me a beginning, middle,
for a setup, and it was like. Got to get one show of strength. Like, what was a show of strength? Really, it was Morgan who did all that shit, right? Like, Morgan set all that shit up like that. Well, you know what I mean? As far as them being able to get out, like, all you did was had Morgan stall one of them, right? Maybe you thought it was gonna be all of them, but it wasn't like that. Wasn't a show of
like she became like a martyr almost.
She was a martyr.
She made a.
That's gonna be a problem from him. I'll be glad when we get on the other side of this and we're gonna be like actually talking about the shit that had like what could because that's like you played them. It's a problem for you what you did with her.
You're right. You're right about that, and you're right about what you previously said. You're right, man. We didn't get a show of strength, and if anything, what I don't like is, and what I don't understand why it was done again, bro. It's like I don't understand these decisions. Why did you show her undermined his movement? So what? So why did you do that? Because she just died immediately anyway. But she was like, for Dathomir.
Yeah.
Why you do that? Because we're never gonna.
She ain't dead. She ain't dead.
You're right. Yeah. What am I thinking, man? I forgot where I was at. Hold on. You're right. She ain't dead.
They ain't give her the one time to show she had crazy work. Yeah. Because they ain't give her the one time she had crazy work
again. She'll probably depending on how and they might even take feedback from the fans and be like, "You're right, loved her, bring her back."
Yeah, she had crazy work.
That's cool.
All her stunt work then came out like, "Oh yeah, grandfather was Bruce Lee and shit." And she ain't going nowhere. She just gonna be a Dathomirian witch. Yeah, she's just gonna be a full witch now.
You weakened Thrawn by doing that. Because she was almost like a foil for him, right? Like she was questioning every decision he made.
We talked about that.
We did. Like
she was early on that.
Yeah, like she questioned every decision he made, and you made it like that's not Thrawn, B. Like, and then he didn't really explain why he was made. You know what I mean? Because that happened in the books. Man. Like Paleon would do that to Thrawn in the books. Like he would question what. But he would be so wrong that it was bigging him up. It was bigging up Thrawn in a way where he was like, worry about why I'm doing it, but I'll explain it to you.
Again, I ain't surprised you. He would explain it, but then something would happen.
Yeah, and he'd be
something
like,
would happen.
Yeah.
I does this.
I was 2 steps. Yeah, always 3 steps ahead. Yeah, that's what I do.
Always had those moments when the first ships was coming at him. Why would you do that? And then
Paleon shut up after that.
Everybody out. Yeah. Never did that with her.
But by the end of this,
he was more desperate to get away. That's what I just need to get out of here.
Yeah,
Please
I
get
don't
me
really
out of
care
here.
about whether or not, which is cool, but it was like, which we kind of knew that anyway. Like he don't really care what happened, but you did send the little resources you had to try to get Ezra or try to kill the Jedi's, but she was like questioning all this stuff, and then at the end to say like he like for the Empire, no, for Dathomir. I'm like, wait a minute, was I supposed to be rooting for her or something? Like what? What was the? I don't know. I get it,
He
but
got side eye from the sisters too. When he said he did something, and the sisters was like, okay, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, all right. He got problems with them. I'm gonna do my rewatch, right? Because I give everybody a rewatch, right? I just want to see how I vibe with it, in terms of, because I told you, the only thing I really needed to be was part, like making sure it could be in the pantheon and is part of the continuation of the story. But for this one, it's just going to be me trying to make sure I understand and I'm clear with it. So I don't want to be up here, bitching and complaining and crying, rightfully so sometimes, right? I'm not trying to be salty on doing that. Sometimes it's warranted about the stuff, but I want to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons, right? Do I understand the story that they're telling, which way they're going, right? If this is how I see it right now with this New Republic, am I cool with that? Am I just trying to see the New Republic, basically the fall of the New Republic, right? Is that what I'm watching right now in preparation for what happened? But within that, am I gonna get what kind of story? Because it's so far away from the sequel trilogy. Is this like still a Victoria? Is this a formation of a group that's going to fight the heir to the Empire, right? Like, is this what we're doing in terms of like what we watch everything? And am I, is that what they're doing? Or I just need to know that, right? I need to know that. And I'm like I said, I'm going to watch again. Just want to make sure if am I going to come back and say is it a 5 or do I still got it as a 7? Am I got clarity on some of the things that I didn't have it on before? But like I say, as I walked away, I didn't like the finale. I didn't like the way it ended, and my reasons are more around. It just felt like it didn't end the season. It was just an Easter egg event, right? It was an Easter egg event, and I didn't want that to be that, and it was that for me, and it took away from the island. And I want to know when I watch it again, is it going to take away from the season again? But the moments that I had, they ain't going to take that away. It may fall along the lines how Boba was. The moments I got, can't take that away. I can watch those. Like I can go watch episode 5 probably without ever having to watch anything else again, right? Is that may be what the season is, and I have to take that, and that'll be okay too. I ain't gonna trip about that. But like I say, I leave with a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, man. Like you said, I'm gonna do a 6. I just hate that I just hate the false premise that it was built on. But I'm with you, man. I am gonna rewatch it, and maybe I bump my score back up. We'll see. But I'm gonna watch it right now. I'm sticking with a 6. Just like I said, a good show, not a great show, but I do feel like that finale pulls it down. It pulls it down, man, because it's too many loose threads. But with that said, yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna rewatch it, see what I think. One thing that I will say about this show, I think out of all the rewatches, I feel like this is gonna be the easiest one to get through. You know what I mean? Like it's so. This will be the easiest one. Even, and that's saying a lot and I say that from the just like comparing it to the other shows where with Mando, you get kind of like caught up in like certain moments, and you kind of like you catch yourself waiting on certain moments that is coming up. With this one, I'll be I'll be more than happy to go through and pick through the moments and sort of dissect everything and say like, all right, try to understand exactly, and it'll give me a better chance to, especially those first 4 episodes, to go back to those and look at them now after knowing what the ending is. And maybe maybe I'll come out like, you know what? Actually, I'll bump it back up. Maybe I'll come out and be like, nah, I gave it the right score. But right now, man, I'm closing it out with a 6, man. That's my final answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as a whole, just like going forward, like you sort of mentioned, it's what are we learning here, man? Is this setting up First Order? Or is this just the last hurrah for the Empire? Which I'm still leaning towards that. I think it's just the last hurrah for the Empire, man. Like I get what you're saying about the New Republic. Is this about the fall of the New Republic? I think it's gonna be about the stumbling or like what's a better word? Like there's gonna be a setback for the New Republic, and maybe this will be
Okay.
what
Okay.
solidifies. I think this could be what
I agree. I
solidifies the
agree
New
with you.
Republic.
It's a better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We so
think
far
this.
away. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
think it's
right.
what
You're right. You're right.
solidifies them
You're right.
going forward. And because if you think about it, the sequel trilogy is not about the New Republic. The sequel trilogy was about the Resistance and fighting off the First Order. It was almost like it was like a war fought on the outskirts. Trying, so it wasn't a galactic war per se.
I'm with yours. This is more setting up to show one last fall of the Empire.
Yeah, we seen the last
Last
Empire,
hurrah.
man. And
Last hurrah.
yes, they last hurrah, and that's cool, So we'll see. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping we see Luke. We see we see Luke and we see Din Djarin again and Grogu. But yeah, I think I'll close out with that, man. It's man. I will say this, man. I'm gonna say that. I don't want to. I'm not gonna go on a last minute rant here. I'm just gonna say I am seeing a strain here, right? A strain on the this form of storytelling, right? That they use the way that they're making these shows is really starting to buckle a little bit under the weight of multiple shows. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't hold up as well as other shows. This formula that they're using is what I guess was what I would say is starting to buckle up, and it's really starting to like this whole my script only had 3 to 4 pages or whatever. When I got my script, it's like that's not going long term. This isn't going to work. I think you can do that if you're doing a one-off. If I'm doing like a tribute, like not a tribute, if I'm doing a one shot almost, like or a a limited run like Obi-Wan, where I'm like, it's not gonna be multiple seasons. I'm just gonna do this one season. This is just to fill in a gap. That's cool. That formula works. Or if you just focusing on one storyline, but I don't think you can apply every storyline to this formula or apply this formula to every storyline, including one when you got, because remember, Mandalorian focused on one character and his sidekick. It doesn't work when you throw in Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, Hera, all the characters from Rebels, and some baggage from Clone Wars. It didn't seem to work as well. And I don't think same thing with Boba Fett. Like, this formula doesn't really work for all these shows. So they got to figure out, I think it's either less is more. Just let's compare. And that's what I mean about the Force. Like, let's compare this moment to other moments. Like Luke using when Obi-Wan spoke in his ear, use the Force, Luke. That was to blow up the Death Star. Like, that's a big moment. You build up to that moment. When he first pulled the lightsaber to kill the to get out of the cave, he's about to get eaten by the what's that called? Is that a bantha or a wampa? It's a wampa. Bantha. Or shit, I can't. It's called something else. I can't remember. But you about to get killed, and that's like a big moment. Like, he had to save his life, but all this stuff culminates to her. Sabine help. This is like, I don't know. It's just I just think Filoni, like, that moment deserved more. Like, if she the first Jedi, she the first Jedi Mandalorian, and
should be a big deal, right?
Like, it's like hundreds.
Yeah,
of
it's weird. You brought us something good. We're gonna move on. We gotta go because I was about to say another great example of a Force thing was even when they did it with Grogu.
Yeah,
we did it like, oh, okay, we know he gonna do something. It was in the air.
From Din Djarin, that was a great, again, this is shout out to John. Probably had something to do, or just shout out to the directors and the writers of that episode, John. But it's like, right, look at the reaction from Din Djarin. He didn't just say, oh, cool, we can use the Force. Nah, he was like, that was like a big thing to him. Like, man, this thing might be dangerous. This is supposed to be my enemy. Like, this, I can't. He couldn't even explain what just happened to him. It was like, he didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, his life was on the line. It was a big moment. That's how you build up a moment. That's how you build up a reveal. Like, you don't just Sabine help
just to have it.
It's like,
like you say, being on the horse, and like you could do it. Let's see, and you could do it. Yeah, just do it. And it was like, and she just put her hand out, like,
you got this, right? Yeah, go ahead.
That should have been, like you say, her being a Mandalorian, and she's of the lineage of a Vizsla. Like, You
I'm
know,
sorry.
like there should have
That's a
been
separate time. That's a separate show.
that's a
Or
whole nother
animated.
thing.
You should have done an entire animated show just called Sabine.
Yep.
You can't even call it she can't share this moment with nobody. You can't
No.
stuff that into a Ahsoka show.
Well, she done found that path, and that's where that was. And like that's why she can be trained, because she's noticing that she, you know what? She opened herself up and like she might have the force. And then Sabine, then Ahsoka might want to take her on. Then what happens with her, how happens with her crib, she don't want to do it. Like, oh, damn, you just lost Mandalore and I'm over here training you. We just noticed now, found out because your lineage, you might have it, right? Like, not just her riding on a bat horse and being like, help. And then she start trying to push the door or whatever. And I don't even know if that helped or whatever. It just was weird. Like I said, I like to talk to, I can't wait to that. I can't wait.
And then she's strong enough to throw Ezra up. Just like, yeah, whatever. She's strong enough now to hoist somebody to a ship. Man, that's like
and even the most, going my bad, I keep cutting you.
No, I'm just saying, man, that's a hell of a display of power, man. Like,
and even the most positive Star Wars people, right? Because you got the two sides. Everyone kind of agreed that moment was never, nothing led up to that moment of that being able to happen, where she was able to, like, nothing led up. But